Schmansky.
I got it. I'll butcher it anyway, but I got it.
All right. Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here for this meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. Before we get started, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, so would everybody please rise? And Councilman Lupinacci, would you lead us?
Yes. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, thank you for being here, those in attendance, and thank you at home for watching this meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. Today's date is Wednesday, September 19th, 2018, and tonight's meeting is a Town Board voting meeting, but we do have one public hearing before we move on to the voting meeting agenda. And I want to mention at 6 p.m., the board met in executive session to discuss the 2019 budget, personnel matters that are contained within the budget for next year. Greg Fulchetti, Town Council, to discuss litigation 6318 versus the Town of Carmel. That 6318 is the Knights of Columbus building up on Fair Street in the hamlet of Carmel. Also, Greg Fulchetti, Town Legal Counsel, National Water Meter Contract. It's contractual, so he needed to discuss some matters pertaining to the contract with the board. So, for the record, all board members are present with the exception of Councilman Schneider, who had a business engagement this evening that he could not reschedule, so he wasn't able to attend and meet with us tonight. But our town clerk, Ann Spofford, all the way down to my right, is with us, and all the way down to my left, as always, is Greg Fulchetti, our town council. All right, so the first item, as I said, is a public hearing. This is on a proposed local law establishing a moratorium in regard to the issuance of permits for smoke shops and vape shops under Chapters 59 and Chapter 156 of the Town Code of the Town of Carmel. So I'm going to ask the town clerk at this point to please read the notice of the public hearing. Sure. And Councilwoman McDonough is going to, it's a lengthy one, so Susie's going to jump in at some point during the reading. Thanks, Ann.
Notice is hereby given that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel will conduct a public hearing at the Town Hall, 60 McAlpin Avenue, Mahopac, New York, 10541, on Wednesday, September 19, 2018, at 7 o'clock p.m. or soon thereafter that evening as possible, on a proposed local law establishing a moratorium in regard to the issuance of permits for smoke shops and vape shops under Chapter 59 of the Town Code of the Town of Carmel as follows. Town of Carmel proposed local law. If adopted, it would be number 4 of the year 2018, a local law establishing a moratorium in regard to the issuance of permits for smoke shops and vape shops under Chapter 59 of the Town Code of the Town of Carmel. Be it enacted by the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, Putnam County, State of New York, as follows. Section 1, purpose. The purpose of this local law is to establish a temporary moratorium on the issuance of building permits and/or certificates of occupancy by the Town of Carmel Building Department for the construction, establishment, and/or operation of any additional or new smoke shops or vape shops within the limits of the Town of Carmel.
Section 2, legislative findings. The Town Board of the Town of Carmel has received numerous complaints regarding the operation of smoke shops and vape shops as defined herein, specifically concerning their detrimental effects on the health, safety, and welfare and quality of life of the residents and citizens of the Town of Carmel. The Town Board has decided to review the current zoning chapter of the Town Code and consider the potential regulation of such smoke shops and vape shops. In order to allow the Town Board time to complete its review, draft proposed new legislation, and enact any such legislation for these types of establishments, the Town Board deems it to be the best interest of the general health, safety, and welfare of the residents of the Town of Carmel to impose a moratorium on the issuance of any further building permits and/or certificates of occupancy by the Town of Carmel Building Department for the construction, establishment, and/or operation of any additional or new smoke shops or vape shops within the limits of the Town of Carmel, which are not currently in existence or operation. Section 3, moratorium. Chapter 156 of the Town Code of the Town of Carmel is hereby amended by the addition of a new subparagraph section 156-39.6, which shall read as follows. D, notwithstanding the foregoing, no building permits and/or certificates of occupancy permitting the construction, establishment, and operation of any additional or new smoke shops or vape shops which are not currently in existence or operation at the time of the enactment of this law shall be issued by the Town of Carmel Building Department as a permitted retail use or other use within any zone within the Town of Carmel, from the effective date of this local law until March 1st, 2019. For purposes of this section, smoke shop or vape shop shall mean any business, facility, or establishment with its main, primary, or specialized purpose being the on-premises use and/or retail sale of tobacco and tobacco-related products, smoking equipment and/or electronic cigarette products, and related products and paraphernalia. Section 4, Home Rule. Nothing in this local law is intended or shall be construed to limit the home rule authority of the town under state law to limit the town's discretion in setting fees and charges in connection with any applications requiring town approval. Section 5.
You want me to pick it up, sir?
Yeah, do you
okay?
mind?
No, I don't mind.
Yep, if
No,
you can.
okay. All right, I'm going to pick up Section 5, severability. If any part or provision of this local law or the application thereof to any person or circumstance be adjudged invalid by any court of competent jurisdiction, such judgment shall be confined in its operation to the part of the provision or application directly involved in the controversy in which judgment shall have been rendered and shall not affect or impair the validity of the remainder of the local law or the application thereof to other persons or circumstances. And the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby declares that it would have passed this local law or the remainder thereof had such invalid application or invalid provision been apparent. Section 6, effective date. This local law shall take effect immediately upon the filing in the office of the Secretary of State in accordance with Section 27 of the Municipal Home Rule Law. At said public hearing, all interested persons shall be heard on the subject thereof. The Town Board will make every effort to assure that the public hearing is accessible to persons with disabilities. Anyone requiring special assistance and/or reasonable accommodations should contact the town clerk. By order of the town clerk of the Town of Carmel, Ann Spofford, town clerk. Okay, thank you all for sharing the reading of the public hearing. So at this time, I need the town board member to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
It's so moved by Councilwoman McDonough, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, at this time, the public hearing is now open. Is there any members of the public that are here with us tonight would like to come up and comment in regards to the smoke shops and vape shop moratorium? Okay. All right, there being none, I need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so moved by Councilwoman McDonough, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Want me to read
Okay, yeah, at this time, John, can you read 1A, please?
Yes, resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby determines that the local law number 4 establishing a moratorium in regards to the issuance of permits for smoke shops and vape shops under Chapter 59 and 156 of the Town Code of the Town of Carmel is a Type 2 action under seeker, NYCRR Section 617.5, Section C, subsection 27, and no further review is necessary. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, offered by Councilman Lupinacci, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote?
Councilman Borelli?
Aye.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes?
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay,
I'd like to
now,
make a motion to enact local law number 4.
okay, motion made.
Can you, as noticed and published? Can you add as noticed and published?
As noticed and published.
Second.
Okay,
Second. I think by both of us.
and I second it too.
All three of
So,
us.
all three of us. So motion made by Councilman Lupinacci, second was by the remainder of the board. Roll call vote?
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes?
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes,
Now we're
motion
reading,
carried.
we're all screwed up.
Thank you. Okay,
We're gonna start with back.
no more vape shops. There's a moratorium in the town of Carmel. Once this is filed with the Office of Secretary of State in accordance with Section 27 of Municipal Home rule. So once that takes effect, moratorium will be. Correct, Your Honor? Correct, counsel?
I believe it'll be, can we e-file these now?
Not yet.
Okay, so it'll be hard filed in the Department of
Oh, yeah,
State,
yeah, yeah.
I guess by Friday or Monday, and then it'll be in effect then. Okay.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, town board voting meeting. So I need a motion to open the town board voting meeting.
Second.
So moved by Councilwoman McDonough, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Town board voting meeting is now open. Resolution, I'm sorry, the first item is to accept the town board minutes of August 22nd, 2018. I need a motion to accept those.
So moved.
So moved. So moved by Councilman Lupinacci, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, resolution number 1 is a resolution waiving the notice of requirement in Section 64 of the New York State Alcohol Beverage Control Law with respect to a liquor license for Lorimar Corp., DBA Let's Have Thai. Suzie, would you read Resolution 1, please?
Sure. Whereas the representatives and/or proprietors of Lorimar Corp., DBA Let's Have Thai, 961 Route 6, Mahopac, New York, 10541, have advised of the intention to apply for an on-premises liquor license for which 30 days advance notice of such application must be sent to the municipality. And whereas the notice required by Article 5 of the Alcohol Beverage Control Law may be waived by the town board. And whereas the Town of Carmel Town Board does not intend to comment upon the application referred to herein. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby waives the 30-day notice requirement contained in Article 5 of the Alcoholic and Beverage Control Law and states that it does not intend to offer any comments regarding said application for a liquor license at the premises referred to herein. And be further resolved, the Town Clerk Ann Spotford is hereby authorized to sign a waiver of said notice on behalf of the Town of Carmel. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, offered by Councilwoman McDonough, seconded by Councilman
I thought
Lupinacci.
you was going to say something.
Can I know this is off, but Greg, can I just ask you something?
Sure.
Like, it says that we can't comment upon it, so,
If the resolution passes, then you're waiving your right to comment for that 30-day window to comment on the application to the liquor authority.
okay.
All this does is allow them to expedite their application to NISLA.
Can we put a comment in now?
You can modify it, okay, or you can amend the resolution to say with whatever comment that I think you want to address with respect to the density of other licensees in the area. Is that correct?
Just say it for the record.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
so if-
so what did we do? We vote, and then I'll just say?
We don't want to hold them up, but we want
Yeah.
to say it for the record. We believe the application's wrong.
So if your motion is to, you read the resolution, you can amend the motion to say, you're waiving the 30-day period, is not to intend to offer any comments except for blank, okay?
Okay.
And that way you're on record with NISLA. So do you want to do that? You want to amend the motion?
Yeah, just amend the motion, like, I'm definitely going to vote for it, because I am certainly pro-business, but I do think that there may be an error in the application, and I just wanted to, you know, I always try to do my due diligence in it, and I don't want to vote on something without letting.
Do you have the
People know.
question number on the application that you
I
have?
believe it is question number 18.
Okay. So what I would suggest you do is offer the resolution with the amendment that the town reserves its right to comment on the applicant's answer to question number 18 on the application dated.
You getting that, Ann?
Got that, Ann?
You got it? I thought I did it slow. I really did.
Could you,
The town reserves the right
To comment on the applicant's answer to question number 18 on the application dated, what is the date? Should be right, I don't know.
20th? Yes, August 20th.
Okay. And you offer that motion as amended.
Yeah.
For vote.
Got it.
Second the motion to amend.
offered it as amended, Sue?
Yes, I did what Greg said.
Oh, okay.
I offer it
Second
as
motion to
amend.
amended per Greg.
Per the
Per
town
council.
council. You second it?
Yes,
All right,
the
it was seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. As amended also. A roll call vote?
Councilman Borelli?
Yes?
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes. Motion carried, thank you.
And I just want to say, I'm all for this
Yeah.
establishment. I do not want to hold anything up, but I just felt that I can't, I won't go on.
You just don't like Thai food.
No, I do.
It's delicious.
I do.
Thai
I
food is
love
very
it.
good.
I know. I love it.
All right.
Okay, number 2.
Good, thanks, Sue. All right, number 2, resolution authorizing attendance at a seminar. Councilman Lupinacci, would you read 2, please?
Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby authorizes Town of Carmel Director of Codes Enforcement Michael Carnazza to attend the 2018 Tri-County NYSBOC Conference being held on November 13th through November 15th, 2018 in Kingston, New York, and be it further resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel authorizes payment of reasonable and necessary expenses incurred in connection therewith upon audit. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Okay, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote?
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, resolution number 3 is a resolution authorizing budget revisions for July and August 2018/4. Councilman Borelli, would you read 3, please?
Whereas the Town Comptroller, Mary Ann Maxwell, has reviewed the proposed final budget modifications for the period ending August 31st, 2018, with the Town Board, which are detailed and explained on the attached budget revision schedule 2018/04. Now therefore be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes and ratifies the final budget modifications/revisions for the period ending August 31st, 2018, as shown itemized on Schedule 2018/04, which is attached hereto, incorporated herein, and made a part hereof. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote?
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 4, is a resolution authorizing acceptance of a bid for electricity supply. Susie, would you read 4, please?
Sure. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Town Comptroller Mary Ann Maxwell, hereby authorizes the acceptance of the bid and the entry into contract for supply of electricity to the Town of Carmel facilities and streetlights to be received under Putnam County bid number RFB-17-18 for any vendors submitting bids at a cost of .073 per kilowatt hour or lower, and for a term not to exceed 36 months. And be it further resolved, the Town Supervisor, Kenneth Schmidt, is hereby authorized to sign any and all documentation necessary to authorize the actions contained herein. And be it further resolved, the Town Comptroller, Mary Ann Maxwell, is hereby authorized to make any and all necessary budget transfers or modifications required to fund the cost of this authorization. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote?
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried on that. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 5, is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract for the purchase of bulk road salt for the Town of Carmel Highway Department. Councilman Lupinacci, would you read 5?
Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Town of Carmel Highway Superintendent Michael Simone, hereby authorizes the award of bid contracts for purchase of bulk road salt for the Town of Carmel Highway Department for the period commencing retroactive to September 1st, 2015 through August 31st, 2019 to Morton Salt, Inc., Chicago, Illinois, under New York State GOS Group Number 1800, Award Number 22955, Contract Number PC67022 at a price of $84.54 per ton. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Okay, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote?
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 6, is a resolution accepting a proposal and authorizing purchase of hot-in-place asphalt scarification for the Town of Carmel Highway Department. Councilman Borelli, would you read 6, please?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Town of Carmel Highway Superintendent Michael Simone, hereby authorizes purchase of hot-in-place recycling, heater scarification of existing asphalt pavement for the period of December 1st, 2017 through November 30th, 2018, from Highway Rehabilitation Corp., Brewster, New York, under Putnam County bid number RFP-41-17, I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 7, is a resolution authorizing acceptance of a proposal for the installation of a diesel fuel system. These are upgrades at the Town of Carmel Highway Department. Suzie, would you read 7, please?
Sure, whereas the Town Board of the Town of Carmel has been advised by Town of Carmel Highway Superintendent Michael Simoni that the Town of Carmel Highway Department facilities require certain upgrades and improvements to its diesel fuel storage and dispensing tank systems and equipment. And whereas the Town Board of the Town of Carmel is further advised by Town of Carmel Highway Superintendent Michael Simoni that upon the exercise of due diligence and investigation, there is a sole source and vendor for this procurement, construction, and installation of the required diesel fuel storage and dispensing tank systems as required, which would exempt the project from the provisions of General Municipal Law, Section 103 et sec. Okay. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, in accordance with the recommendation of Town Highway Superintendent Michael Simoni, hereby determines that the required procurement, construction, and installation of the proposed diesel fuel storage and dispensing tank systems and equipment referenced herein is available only from a sole source vendor, specifically American Petroleum Equipment and Construction Company, Walden, New York. And be further resolved, be it that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, in accordance with the recommendation of Town of Carmel Highway Superintendent Michael Simoni, hereby accepts the proposal of American Petroleum Equipment and Construction Company, Inc., for the procurement, construction, and installation of the proposed diesel fuel storage and dispensing tank systems and equipment at a cost not to exceed $99,855, in accordance with the terms of the proposal dated February 2, 2018. And be further resolved, the Town Supervisor, Kenneth Schmidt, is hereby authorized to sign any and all documentation necessary to authorize the actions contained herein. And be it further resolved, the Town Comptroller, Marianne Maxwell, is hereby authorized to make any and all budget transfers or modifications necessary to fund the services authorized herein. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 8, is a resolution authorizing award of a contract for the purchase of bulk diesel fuel for the Town of Carmel Highway Department. Councilman Lupinacci, would you read 8, please?
Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel, upon the recommendation of Town of Carmel Highway Superintendent Michael Simoni, hereby authorizes the award of bid contract for purchase of bulk diesel fuel for the Town of Carmel Highway Department for the period of commencing August 31st, 2018 through August 27, 2020, under New York State Office of General Services, contract number PC 68208. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Okay, seconded by Councilman Borelli and Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 9, is a resolution authorizing acceptance of a proposal for the purchase of equipment for the Town of Carmel Highway Department. Councilman Borelli, it's kind of lengthy, but would you read number 9?
If I don't run out of voice.
Yeah.
Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Carmel has been advised by Town of Carmel Highway Superintendent Michael Simoni that the Town of Carmel Highway Department facilities require the acquisition and replacement of certain equipment for the proper function and carrying out of the duties, responsibilities, and functions of the Highway Department. And whereas the Town Board of the Town of Carmel is further advised by Town of Carmel Highway Superintendent Michael Simone that the need for the acquisition of such equipment is immediate, such that an emergency exists, which may affect public property or buildings, which cannot await competitive bidding under provisions of General Municipal Law 103 ET-SEQ. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, in accordance with the recommendation Town Highway Superintendent Michael Simone, hereby determines that the need for acquisition of the proposed equipment is an emergency pursuant to the General Municipal Law 103 apostrophes 4, and be it further resolved, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, in accordance with the recommendation of Town Highway Superintendent Michael Simone, hereby accepts the proposal of Westchester Tractor, Brewster, New York, for the acquisition of an Eager Beaver 25 XPT triaxle trailer at a cost not to exceed $36,343, in accordance with the terms of the proposal dated April 25th, 2018, and be it further resolved that the Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is hereby authorized to sign any and all documentation necessary to authorize the actions contained herein. Be it further resolved that the Town Controller, Mary Ann Maxwell, is hereby authorized to make any and all budget transfers and modifications necessary to fund the services authorized herein. I offer this resolution as read,
Second.
and for the public's knowledge, this is for a piece of equipment that broke down in use and has to immediately be replaced.
Okay. Thank you, Councilman Borelli. Councilman Lupinacci,
I
seconded?
second it,
All right,
yes.
Seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote?
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 10, is a resolution authorizing attendance to a seminar. Susie, would you read 10, please?
Sure. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes Town of Carmel Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., to attend the 2018 Southeast New York Stormwater Conference being held on October 17th, 2018 in Beacon, New York. And be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel authorizes payment of reasonable and necessary expenses incurred in connection therewith upon audit. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote?
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 11, is a resolution authorizing extension and renewal of a contract for maintenance for the Lake Cassie Park District. Councilman Lupinacci, would you read 11, please?
Whereas the Town Board of Town of Carmel has previously authorized and awarded and extended the contract for Lake Cassie maintenance to Mr. Terrence Kelly for the years 2016 through 2018. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel, acting as commissioners of the Lake Cassie Park District and upon the recommendation of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., hereby authorizes the extension of the aforesaid contract services with Terrence Kelly for the fiscal year 2019 at a cost not to exceed $13,000, and be it further resolved that Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is hereby authorized to execute any extension or amendment, as well as any necessary documents required connected therewith. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
I just have a question on the second. Greg, the first contract that was awarded to Mr. Kelly for the Lake Cassie Park District was a 3-year contract. This appears to be just a 1-year contract for 19. Was there any reason why that?
Renewal.
Oh, this one's a renewal?
This is your last renewal on that.
All right. Oh, okay. All right.
So this will be.
So this one's just going to be for 19?
Right, it's fiscal year 2019, and then it'll conclude after that. It's under the threshold, so,
Okay.
I mean, you can go out and get proposals, as you generally should, but we're just extending it for the final year that he gave us proposed numbers for.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Okay, roll call vote?
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 12, is a resolution authorizing payment for repairs within the Town of Carmel sewer and water districts. Councilman Borelli, would you read 12, please?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as commissioners of Carmel Sewer Districts 2 and 6, and upon the recommendation of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, hereby authorizes payment to Evans Septic, Mayapack, New York, for the sum of $7,725 for goods and services rendered in connection with pump station repairs performed within Carmel Sewer Districts 2 and 6, all in accordance with the invoices dated June 1st, 2018. And be it further resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as commissioners of Carmel Water District 3, and upon the recommendation of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, hereby authorizes payment to B&J Plumbing, Mayapack, New York, the sum of $6,481, for goods and services rendered in connection with pump repairs performed at Spring Street Clearwell within Carmel Water District 3, all in accordance with the invoice dated August 22nd, 2018. And be it further resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of Carmel Water District Number 12, and upon the recommendation of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, hereby authorizes payment to B&J Plumbing, Mayapack, New York, the sum of $7,153.73 for goods and services rendered in connection with well pump repairs / replacement within said water district, all in accordance with the invoice dated August 30th, 2018. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Bonacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 13, is a resolution authorizing acceptance of a proposal for the repairs to Carmel Sewer District Number 4. Susie, would you read 13?
Sure. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Carmel has been advised by Town of Carmel Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., that one of the rotating biological contractor units at the Carmel Sewer District Number 4 wastewater treatment plant is in need of repair. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of Carmel Sewer District Number 4, in accordance with the recommendation of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., hereby accepts the proposal of Darlington Equipment Company, Negley, Ohio, for performance of the required repairs in accordance with the proposal of September 4, 2018, and at an overall cost not to exceed $26,595. And be further resolved, the Town Supervisor, Kenneth Schmidt, is hereby authorized to sign any and all documentation necessary to authorize the actions contained herein. And be further resolved, the Town Comptroller, Marion Maxwell, is hereby authorized to make any and all budget transfers or modifications necessary to fund the services authorized herein. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, Resolution 14, is a resolution authorizing execution of work change order to contract C-246, and this is in Carmel Water District Number 2. Councilman Lupinacci, would you read 14?
Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of Carmel Water District Number 2, hereby authorizes the execution of change order number 1 to the Carmel Water District Number 2 Emergency Water Main Replacement Project with Legacy Supply LLC in the form as attached Tier 2 and made a part hereof. And be it further resolved that Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is authorized to execute said change order number 1 on behalf of Carmel Water District Number 2. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Borelli. Roll call vote.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried.
Kenny, can I just mention that this is a no-cost?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Work change order?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Okay, I just mentioned it.
You just did it?
Yeah, just did
Okay.
it. It's no
Thanks,
cost.
Sue. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, next resolution, number 15, is a resolution authorizing the mailing of the Lake Cassie Park District newsletter. Councilman Borelli, would you read 15?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of the Lake Cassie Park District, hereby authorizes the mailing of the September 2018 newsletter as prepared by the Lake Cassie Park District Committee to all properties within the district, and further directs that the cost thereof be charged as a district expense. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next, number 16 is a resolution authorizing the settlement of, this is a certiorari litigation. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read 16?
Yes, whereas there is currently pending in the Supreme Court, County of Putnam, State of New York, under index numbers 1424/2015, 944/2016, 500400/2017, a certain lawsuit entitled R. Lester LLC versus the Town of Carmel regarding the 2015, 2016, and 2017 tax assessment for the property known and designated Town of Carmel tax map number 55.6-1-48. And whereas a proposed settlement of the litigation has been negotiated by Glenn Drosy, Town Assessor, and Special Counsel Gregory L. Fulchetti, both of whom have recommended approval of the proposed settlement. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the settlement of the aforementioned litigation as a recommended. And be it further resolved that Special Counsel Gregory L. Fulchetti is hereby authorized to sign, on behalf of the Town of Carmel, the stipulation of settlement and corresponding consent judgment reflecting the terms of the settlement. I offer this resolution as read.
Councilman McDonough?
Yeah?
Could you just amend it to the Special Counsel Richard Blancato? Because this is one of Mr. Blancato's cases from, I guess it's from 15 and 16 and 17. So he's actually handled it. He actually negotiated the settlement with our Assessor Glenn Drosy, and he should sign the consent judgment and the stip.
In
Yes.
both places, Greg, where it says Gregory L. Fulchetti?
It
Change
should
it
be
to-
substituted both ways.
Okay.
Okay, so I offered it as counsel has amended.
Second the motion to change Gregory L. Fulchetti to Richard Blancata.
Blancata.
Okay. All right, so it was offered by Councilwoman McDonough, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. With the amendment, roll call vote?
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 17, is a resolution establishing employee anniversary date. Councilman Lupinacci, would you read 17?
Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby revises the date of hire and/or anniversary date for employee number 2016 from August 24, 2018 to June 22, 2012 for all purposes including but not limited to credit in the New York State and local retirement system. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote?
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 18, is a resolution accepting and approving donation of vacation time. Councilman Borelli, would you read 18, please?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby accepts and approves the donation of accrued vacation time to employee 1046 from the following Town of Carmel employees. Employee 1699, time donated, 6 vacation days. I offer this resolution as read,
Second?
and I thank the person that donated the time. I'm sure everybody does.
Yes, thank you, Mike. Seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote?
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 19, it's a resolution awarding a bid for Sycamore Park Court Rehabilitation 2, contract number C250. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read 19?
Sure. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Carmel has previously authorized advertisement for the solicitation of bids for basketball court construction and improvements at Sycamore Park in the Town of Carmel, and whereas such bids were received and opened on July 20th, 2018, and whereas Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., has recommended the awarding of the bid as set forth hereafter. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby awards the bid for the contemplated fencing improvements and repairs to Sport Tech Construction, Brewster, New York, the lowest responsible bidder who met specifications at an overall cost not to exceed $170,000. And be further resolved that upon presentation of insurance certificates for all vendors and contractors proposed to perform improvements in connection with this authorization in form acceptable to Town Council, the aforesaid work may be commenced. And be further resolved, the Town Comptroller, Marianne Maxwell, is hereby authorized to make any and all necessary budget transfers or modifications required to fund the costs of this authorization. I offer this resolution as read.
Okay, Suzie, you have to amend that? One part,
Yeah.
The fencing?
The-
Fencing?
Improvements?
Yeah, that's why I put it, see, I put a check there, because I didn't think something was right. Fencing, what do you want me to amend?
Just basketball court
Take
improvements.
Contemplating.
fencing out.
Yep.
Remove fencing.
and put
contemplating
basketball.
basketball courts.
Yeah, so it should read, now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Carmel hereby awards the bid for the contemplated basketball improvements and repairs. So I offer this resolution as amended.
Seconded.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote?
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. And I want to mention that $100,000 of the $170,000 that we approved tonight came from a grant, $100,000 grant from Senator Terrence Murphy through the SAM grant on the state level, or the dormitory.
The DASNY.
The DASNY grant for $100,000. So we thank Senator Murphy for appropriating these funds through a grant, and that his office helped facilitate the funding for this. So thank you, Senator Murphy. Okay, next resolution, number 20, is a resolution creating a job classification of Account Clerk 2 in the Office of the Town of Carmel Justice Court and making probationary appointment. Councilman Lupinacci, would you read 20, please?
Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby creates a job classification of Account Clerk 2 in the Justice Court Department and appoint Francine Smansky to said position commencing immediately at a CSEA Group 4, Step 2 salary level on a probationary basis and subject to the provisions of civil service law and the civil service rules and regulations. I offer this resolution as read.
Second?
Okay, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote?
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes, with
Council-
pleasure.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes, with pleasure.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, also with pleasure. Fran Schmansky does an excellent job in the Justice Court for the Town of Carmel, as all the clerks do and assistants do. So this is well-deserved for Fran, and I'm glad that she was able to get this change in title as well. So congratulations, Fran. Good luck in your new title. Okay, next resolution, number 21. This is the final resolution this evening. This is also making a probationary appointment to, in the Office of Real Property Appraiser in the Town of Carmel Assessor's Office. Councilman Borelli, would you read 21, please?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby appoints Christopher Paleo to Real Property Appraiser in the Town of Carmel Assessor's Office, commencing immediately at CSEA Group 7, Step 2 entry salary on a probationary basis and subject to the provisions of civil service law and the civil service rules and regulations. I offer this resolution as read, and
Second.
congratulations.
Second?
Yes, seconded
Second.
by the rest of the board. Roll call vote?
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes, with pleasure.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes, with pleasure.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, with pleasure also. And Chris is here with us tonight, Chris Paleo. Chris, congratulations in your new position. Chris also does a really superlative job in the Office of the Town Assessor. He was pressed into action during the reval last year, and I think he's still in action from the reval. So he does a great job, and the Town Assessor's here with us also, and I know the sentiment is the same from Glenn, that he feels that, Chris does a wonderful job, and continue the good work, Chris, and congratulations once again.
And Chris, Kenny makes the schedule, so he kept you here to the last.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Could
sorry.
have been number one.
Yeah, listen,
There
we
you
saved
go.
the best for last, right? There you go. Yeah, good luck. Congrats. Okay, so it was a lengthy voting meeting this evening. 21 items is lengthy, but we got through it okay. And at this time, I'm going to open up the floor to public comment on agenda items only at this time. So if anybody's here for any of the agenda items that we covered, come on up to the podium at this time, other than Glenn to say congratulations to one of his staff members. Is there anybody else that would like to come up? All right, there being none, I'm going to open up the floor now to general public comment. This is for town residents only, property owners, business owners. You could come up and comment to the town board on any town-related matters, and it's for a 3-minute comment period. Is there anybody who would like to come up? Yes, sir.
Yes.
Just come up to the podium. And
Can anybody tell me?
just
what's
need your
gonna-
name.
Rocky Ricardelli. Can anyone tell me what's happening with Lake Mahopac with the water?
The quality?
It's the quality,
The
the
weeds and the geese?
debris, yes, yes. Normally, the tide will take it in and out, but for the past month or 2 months, just sits there.
Rocky, can I do this? Because
yeah.
I've lived through this
Yeah,
once
yeah.
before.
Yeah.
You were there for about 18 years, 15 years?
25 years. I
You're
would say.
25 years.
Yeah.
So you came in after the first load of carp came in?
Yes, I came, no, I was
About
there
5
way
years
before
after.
that, yes.
Okay. The bottom line is, from someone that lives right down the block from you and uses the water, and your wife has called several
Yes.
times about the geese.
Yes,
We're trying to get control of a maintenance program where the carp are put in on a regular basis instead of putting in a load of them, waiting for them to die,
Right.
and then putting in more, which we've all found out that just does not work. And we're right back to how we were 25 years ago.
But
Exactly.
at least we had something to clean up.
We are exactly
They
like
had
we were 25
whatever-
years ago.
Yeah, but they had the machine that did something.
Right.
Right now, it's just sitting there, and it's just a certain area.
Yep.
Tide
The
is not taking
shallows
it out.
and the coves. And now we're starting to see the weeds, when you drive around the lake, come through the body of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't have the harvester anymore. So you're looking at 2 to 3 years for these fish to deal with this. And I'm as frustrated as you and pay almost as much taxes as you to live on that water, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but
And my
I-
my grandchildren can't use their beach area
Thank you,
either.
yes.
And that's the conversation I
That's
had with
right.
your wife.
Right.
And that's something I hope that the tax assessor who's sitting in the audience hears also.
You know, we're
Okay.
paying these taxes, we're getting taxed more because we
Well,
live on the water, but yet
and
I
that's why I
can't
wanted to
use the
speak on
dock,
this,
and I
okay?
cannot use the water, and
You have a
I had
house
my
where you
grandchildren.
cannot walk into the
Right.
water. I'm fortunate enough where I have a house on a straightaway, not in a cove, where my daughter and my son-in-law bring my grandchildren to my house to swim off the dock because they can't use their beachfront. And it's 2 to 3 years out before they can use their beachfront also.
is that fair to us?
It's
There's
not-
gotta be
absolutely
something that
not.
could be
And
done.
that's why
There is
at the
no
next meeting-
fund that could come in and clean it up
next-
somewhat?
the next Lake Mapac Park meeting is October 1st. I believe it's a Monday night. I ask you to come because I'm going to be there, because we want to come in front of the town board as the Lake Mapac Park District, demanding some kind of a regular program with the fish.
A maintenance
Or,
program.
I was talking to Greg, because I saw you there, and I remember your wife's phone calls. Do we still have a program 20 years, 30 years ago, when my older children were younger children and ran around the backyard, 40 years ago?
Before my time.
Yeah,
Dating the
35 years ago, okay? When my children were running around the backyard, there was geese crap everywhere, excuse me, okay? It's back.
Yeah.
All right? Which, Texas, I don't think took that into consideration either when he revalved the lake. But talking to the attorney, Greg, we had a program we could harvest the geese. Is that still in place?
Town had a permit for harvesting geese issued by the U.S. Department of Fish and Wildlife. I don't think we've done that in 4 or 5 years. I don't think the permit is active, but you can apply to renew or to acquire another
I'm
permit.
asking you to come to the meeting, in October, the first meeting, because I'm going to ask for the permit to be
Reissued.
reissued to harvest the geese and not to wait to the last minute on the
On the carp.
carp. All right? Unless we harvest the geese or control the geese, and a funny quick story, 30 years ago, my wife says, stop throwing rocks, stop threatening to get your partner with his guns to shoot the geese. I'm going to write to New York and find out what we could do about it. And she wrote to the state of New York, DEC Wildlife, 30 years ago. They actually sent me back, and I have it framed in my boathouse,
A
how to
permit.
control the geese. And they told us what kind of shotgun shell to use,
Or a dog.
and how to shoot it.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore,
No,
but I saved
but
it.
at the time, you couldn't do it because you had to be 500 foot
Feet
from the
away.
house.
Right.
Yeah.
The bottom
Right?
line is I
Plus a
encourage,
$75 fee, we applied for it, but you can't shoot them.
right, I encourage you, and I encourage every one of my neighbors to come to the October meeting and discuss this, because we can't use our beaches. 50% of the people cannot access the water around the lake right now unless you have a 4 to 5 foot depth on your lakefront. And it's been like that for a year, and it's going to be like that for another 2 to 4 years until the
Something has
geese,
gotta get
until the carp
To the carp.
are growing and eating.
What's the situation? Is it the weeds that are just overcoming, or they break out and they're floating around
No,
like?
they're-
like-
It's the same,
They
it's
float.
a
There's a
combination
lot
of both. In the
It's so bad.
shallows, you have the weeds growing through now, which you've never, you haven't seen in 15, 20
They're
years.
coming right through the top, John.
They're coming right through.
Yeah.
And as they lower the lake now, you're gonna see them flatten on the top. Then you have the loose weeds that are,
Floating, yeah.
especially in Rocco's corner, where he has a tight cove where you can't pull them out.
Yeah.
I used my dump truck, my son-in-law used my dump truck to clean his weeds out of his lake before a party, and I'm quite sure he's gonna do it again this weekend when they're having their last get-together on the lake. The kids cannot
No.
use the lake.
And Johnny, the weeds get stuck in the motors, they get stuck on the ladders.
So
I have
Very-
two
if the
bills
intake
at
gets
Mayapack Marine
really
that are
bad.
unpaid for the weeds
Yeah, it's,
being removed.
The intakes on the jet skis all.
a few years ago, it was beautiful.
So couldn't we be proactive, because as you're saying, it takes 2 years for the carp to do their business, but couldn't we also be proactive and rent a harvester to at least, one, cut it down and pull up the weeds so you don't have the floaters?
The only thing with the harvester, if I'm not mistaken, Mike, it cuts it up, but then it has
Yeah.
to go someplace.
It has to
so
go somewhere.
You may
Well,
end
no,
up
but
with a
doesn't-
ton of
doesn't-
it
doesn't
Used to
in
pick it
front.
up.
State Lake.
It has to go, they lose half what they cut.
Oh, they do? Because I remember driving around the lake, and like there was a conveyor belt that it was sucking it up.
And
and
you
then
But
it
had-
you lose some of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you have to take it
I
out of the lake.
think, John, I think what happened was when the carp, when the state did not put in the carp on a regular basis, because the lake was beautiful years ago, absolutely beautiful.
it-
And then we tried to get the carp in, and the state said no, and then they gave us like 120 carps, which did nothing. So you go to the meeting with Councilman Borelli and the Lake Advisory, the
Permitting, though.
state, we need to say that,
Need
you know,
some
you need it permitted
There w-
every so many years to get the carp in.
There was 1,500 put in last year,
Yeah.
and 250 the
sure
year
that you don't
before.
need a permit.
So 1,750 carp have been put in that lake within the last 2 years. I just don't
a
think
little
they've
too
had
late,
enough
too
time.
little.
I
Even,
think quite a few might have
even if we
died
only put
because
in
they're
200
floating
a
around.
year, even if we only
Yeah.
put in 100 at a time, something has to be put in every year.
Every year, yeah.
Yeah,
Plus,
because
it's
there
been-
are losses.
Right. yep.
Obviously, to the naked eye, that what we've been doing doesn't work.
No, the first time they put in quite a bit, and it did clean it up.
Yeah.
Well,
you know.
clean, the
Yes,
entire
it
lake was clean,
Yes.
and it was almost like
Yeah.
it was barren of weeds, there were no
Well,
weeds.
it was good for the swimmers, but
Right.
bad for the fishermen.
Right.
Right.
So,
Right,
But I
but-
believe that
All right,
meeting's on the
but-
first Monday, which I believe is October 1st,
October
In-
1st.
in here.
definitely.
Let me see.
with a back room, and I think it's at 7 or
I'll
7:30.
be there.
They
Thank
they
you.
just,
But please bring your neighbors.
they just for information on this.
Yeah, October 1st.
The Lake Park District at Barnett, him and the committee, they hired a drone operator to do a flyover of pictures. They took pictures of the entire lake, all the coves, so they have aerial digital photographs that I believe they're also going to bring to the meeting, Mike.
Yeah, we've been doing,
In October,
they've
so
been
you'll
doing a
see-
lot.
They do
This
that
is
for
no knock
years.
on
Yeah.
the committee, but I want them to see, the neighbors come and say, we want to do this on a regular basis, and Ed definitely wants to do that. But we need to see you here.
I don't mind.
Yeah. Rocky?
I'm 72 years old. I
Bless
should be out there with the taxes I'm paying.
Agreed.
Give us
To-
a little.
Right. Yep. I agree with you. Yeah. Yeah, we may need to put another 250 in this year.
I couldn't care if you put 500.
It's going to be too late.
Yeah. Well,
It's too late for this year
is it
already.
too late?
Permit.
Is it?
It's
I'm
out of,
pretty sure, yeah.
it's out of our hands, that's the problem.
That I realize.
All right, well, then we
Yeah.
need to get started on it for the spring of next year.
Exactly.
All right, okay. Rocky, thank you. Just come to that meeting on,
The
when is
first.
it, Mike, the
October
1st?
It's first Monday.
October 1st?
October
It's the
1st,
first.
yeah,
Okay,
just looked.
October 1st. All right. It's at 7 o'clock, Mike? They start at 7?
Yes.
Okay, right,
I believe
right
so.
here, right in the town hall. So if it's not in the conference room, if they're, depending on how many people show up, it might be out here in the meeting room, main meeting room, because they usually meet in the conference room, but, you know, I agree with Mike that other residents that reside around the lake that have the issue with the milfoil and the weeds, and along with the geese, to show up at that meeting. Thanks. All right, is there anyone else on open forum, new business portion of the meeting? Come on up.
Mike?
Oh, Mike,
Steve,
Steve?
hold on one second, Mike.
Okay. Oh,
Hi.
Stephen?
Good evening, Board.
Stephen, 3 minutes?
Yeah, I'm not
All
going
right,
to keep
thank
it
you.
short tonight because
All
I
right.
didn't know. First of all, I want to apologize for the way I was talking the other night to all you people. It's not right, but, you know, sometimes I get a little frustrated on certain things. But there's two things I want to just mention that what we're trying to do is eliminate a bunch of things that I don't think is necessary. We got temporary water in here. Does that mean that they run a pipe along the ground to feed the houses and hook up to them? We never done that. What do we need the money there for?
People
So
don't
there's a
wanna
way to
see
get the unit prices down on $160 per unit versus,
Steve, I don't think you mentioned it, but this is regarding Carmel Water District Number 9, right?
right, oh, I am,
I don't
Yeah,
think
the people out, the
people
people
out there-
won't know.
all right.
We know, but
This-
yeah.
This is concerning Mayapack Hills Association, and it's Water District 9. Thank you for letting me know that.
Yeah.
But there is a bunch of items in here that they don't use when they do this construction for many years when they've been doing it. You know, that's the temporary water, that could be backed out. The 200 yards of extra fill, the 200 yards of extra topsoil, the $30,000 for road,
Steve?
road markings,
Right.
double lane, you know. But that's in there for the contractor to repair it. It says it right on the drawings. That is their maintenance, so that should be backed out. Then there's a sum here for some of $50,000 for protection of traffic. Do we have policemen doing that, or, I mean, how does that work? I've never seen anybody out there protecting it. They put a barrier up and all that. That can be backed out. A lot of things in this contract, or this bid list, or wherever you guys got the units from, can be backed out and lower the price for the taxpayers in our association, because we're the ones paying for all this in the long run. That's one. Two is that this is the surveys that Mr. Forchetti gave us. These are nice surveys. They're done on a computer. These are made from your town engineer, has been doing these since 1991. They show walkways, light posts, they show everything, grades, hookups, where they are, how long they go, what size they are. Beautiful job. Rob Farris, give him credit. Got a lot of them. So these surveys have been already done. Now we have these surveys that Mr. Forchetti gave us. And it's ironic that when I have a survey team come out and my surveyors pinpoint their mark and they shoot it and they get that reading. Well, apparently, Mr. Forchetti's surveyors got the same guy in the same spot, every point, exactly, because his numbers exactly coordinate 2011. So I don't know why we're getting charged for surveys. $27,000. That could be backed out. A lot of things.
Steve, wait, you need to, because the people can't hear, you need just to go to the microphone.
Yep. A lot of these things in this contract can be backed out, or the percentage number could be lowered. You know, I don't know why we went out and hired another guy when Rob has been doing a great job all these years, all these years. Maybe he needed an assistant. He did everything, soup to nuts. Now, I'm going to ask the town board that maybe you guys should decide on linking with this guy's contract, because he's got all exclusives. and maybe we could save some taxpayers' money.
Steve, are you going to be, because we're having a public hearing
Oh, I'll
on
be
this?
here.
Okay, good, I wanted to
26th.
make sure,
Oh, I'll
yeah.
be here.
Steve?
Okay, good.
These are all the little things that I've been finding out, and it's
Yep.
upsetting.
You know, this way you can come and all of the players
Oh,
will be
yeah.
in the room and they can answer.
I will certainly do that, and
Perfect.
thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Bring-
Thanks, Steve.
Bring that back at the public hearing. I'll respond to you at the public hearing.
There's a couple more drawings I have to go
What,
over
oh,
yet.
hold on. What day is that public hearing?
I think it's next,
Wednesday, next.
it's Wednesday, the
Wednesday, the
26th.
26th.
Okay, not
Next
the 4th.
Wednesday.
Okay, I'll be here.
The 26th.
Is everyone going to be present?
I might have to,
Not us, but like John, Rich, and.
Yes.
Here's your
Be
problem,
John,
Steve.
There should be Rich, there should be.
I've stood there for a year and a half
Mary Ann.
yelling about this, what you're yelling
And
about.
Mary Ann, too.
Here's the problem.
Yes.
The bids are out.
we don't want to hold the job up.
Well, here's the problem.
We want to get the unit price down.
That's the problem.
Let
You
the
can't
work
do
go
it.
ahead.
That-
We know we
but
can
see,
do
that's
it.
the problem, Steve. The only way to do that is to rebid the whole thing.
Well-
So you either go back to the drawing board with a new bid going out and wait again, or you go with the bid that's out now, because they can't take out things like that. But please bring all your stuff back to the public hearing, because that's when I want to.
I mean, can't you have an amended
I lost
bid?
my voice tonight, and I'd rather have the whole community here.
Guys,
Yeah, I mean,
guys, we spoke about this bid, we'll have a public hearing, and
Yeah.
I don't want to start, and I hear everything you're saying, and I'm going to say it differently than you, but very similar. This is a unit-based bid, and those items that you're talking about, the road maintenance or the road protection is 25 for Brennan, it was 5,000 for the other landscape person, then it was 100,000 for the other vendor. So it's not 50, but the winning bid or the lowest bid is 25 for road protection or security, traffic control. The other items in there is in the bid if, here's
If
the big
used.
thing. If it's
If
used,
used.
so you keep saying like, let's get rid of it. If they don't use it, it's not in the final price.
I
It's not in the
understand.
final price, it's not in the final cost, it's not gonna be bonded. But the reason why they put it in there is that say all of a sudden they do run into a problem and they need more gravel, and it's not in the bid, and then not this contractor, but another contractor bangs you over the head because there is no agreed price part of the bid package. So a lot of the items that you're talking about, we need to
Might not
understand
get
is,
used, might not
is
get spent.
if it's used, we have a controlled price. If it's not used, it's ignored. It's not even good. The unit price is $235 per linear foot. That's the unit price. All the other things are blocks that are in the bid if the contractor has to use it. Now, the security of the $25,000, you could talk about that on the public hearing. I don't know of a contractor that's going to waive, that opens up liability, and then I'm going to defer to council to say, is the town going to take that liability of if something happens? So we have to understand, and listen, I see those numbers, I get nervous seeing those numbers because I live in 14, and 14 I know is the next water district that's going to start to be done.
crumble,
And
yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be similar price, if not more, because it's bigger, and it's not as older, but it's bigger. So I'm with you, but a lot of those items in the bid is to set a rate if it's used. I don't think he's going to put curbs in, because Mike Simone has been saying, once this work is done, that's queued up to have that whole neighborhood repaved. So he has to patch it, and then Mike's going to come in, so putting in curbs, maybe they're curbs to control like water flow, which
Right.
are
Right, the
temporary.
grades
And
and the
it's not
flow.
going to be as
Yeah.
dynamic as it looks on paper.
Yeah.
So I just want everyone to understand that, like, there's a reason for that, and I think the engineering's aware, I think B&J Plumbing's aware on helping understand things, I think the contractor is aware, and I think, and the public, I think everyone's gonna come together, and I think, sadly, it's gonna be expensive, but I think it's going to work out, and they're gonna try to keep the cost as low as they possibly can, but at the same time, it's a project.
No, I know it's a project, and I'm sure that there's a couple of items in here that can be backed out, you know, that.
Or just, it will never,
Won't
co-
be
never
used.
be enacted, never come into play.
$30,000 for striping, you know, all of that stuff. You know which ones I'm talking about, you know.
I asked the same question, and that's why they said, John, wait, that's never, it's in there to set a rate, you know,
And
but,
I understand
but if
that.
it's
I
not, if it's
understand
not used, the 30,000 never paid.
No, I understand about the unit price and all that, but the total cost of everything is gonna be significant
And the
lower than what we see here on these papers.
And the survey at 27,000, that is an estimate, those surveys that were redone came in, I think that he submitted a bill or he said in the meeting, about $48,000 or $5,000. So if it was 27 and it come in at 5, 22 is already saved. You're not gonna get another 22
All right.
bill
Well-
for survey, so 22 has already been
that's
saved.
fine.
It's not gonna go into the cost of the finished product. That's gonna have to be bonded and then taxed.
Okay, and probably one other thing is that the engineering department does need a little help up there as far as new equipment, so they can get these things up online and documented, and then you can pull them in and out when you need them.
That's what they do with their budget. They come in and talk to the big man here.
A lot of new programs out there that these guys can do a lot
Yeah.
more.
It should be
More
electronic
efficient, so
versus-
you
yeah.
guys can get more done with them.
Yeah.
And that guy Rob up there deserves them, so. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Steve.
Lisa, you have to come up. It does, you
They
still
can't
have
hear
to
you.
come up, because they can't hear
The TV people can't
you.
hear you.
Yeah, we've had numerous complaints.
I want to know, how is the unit price computed? How is that calculated? How did they come to that unit price? Do you know?
That's by different contract, because, and I'm going
Like,
by
what,
memory.
they take all those, how do you get to 160? Is it
Each element of the job of the project has its own line. That's
So they're
its unit
taking
price.
in a lot of the stuff that you say might not be used?
Well, that's
to develop
on the
the
unit
unit
price.
price.
it may
The
not.
unit price is linear foot for the pipe. So one was 235, one I think was
remember.
160, and one was, I don't remember the other one.
That's just for the-
But that's just for the linear pipe, and you gotta keep in mind, all three bids were within $30,000 of itself. So as, again, like, one that may have had the lowest price per linear foot for the pipe had $100,000 for the traffic control. Now, that traffic control of $100,000, he'd get that once the bid is signed. So by using the bidder that only has $25,000, but higher linear foot, you know, that's where we control. So
So there's no such thing as getting that unit price down?
the unit price
That's,
would.
the unit price is what it is, and that's it?
Right now, those are the three
Correct.
bids. As Mr. Borelli said, we would have to
I'm
go
just
out and
asking.
rebid. Yeah, we'd have to go back out and rebid.
The unit price is calculated on the installation of a linear foot of pipe, which is your excavation, your installation of the pipe, your bedding, your backfill, your pavement restoration, and some percentage of that is deemed generally to be rock excavation or hammering, okay? And that comes up with, if you have, you know, whatever the number is, if you have 3,500 linear feet of pipe and the number at unit cost is $235, that's outside of the extra items in the contracts. That's,
One other thing, we're not, we don't want the loop system. We never had it, and
took out
we
the
don't want it. It's not needed, even though on Rob's drawing, they had that area surveyed, but we never wanted it back then, and we still don't want it. Okay?
The only thing that's good about this, after years of turmoil, is we all know the price is right because the 4 bidders were so close that the number on the job is right. It's a matter of where the job comes in now.
Yeah, and how they
But
got there.
you know that it's a real number. Whether the number makes you happy or not is a different story. But these bids were so close,
Competitive, I understand that whole part, yes. I agree. You know, they have
that's
to do
the
their
only
liability
good thing
and
I
insurance.
see about this.
I know.
And the fact that a local person that lives in the district was the winner on the bid means, you know, this is somebody we see, we know.
Right.
So the job's going to be done right.
No, I
The
understand
neighbor,
all
but he's
that.
not in the district. He has his own well.
Well, he's in the district, but he doesn't draw off of it. So I'm saying he's a neighbor, is what I mean,
He's not in the
all right?
district, he's a neighbor.
He's not a stranger, he doesn't draw off it.
Right.
So we can't fix the aggravation that you guys lived through for 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 years. The bottom line is the number is real. I am really happy how everybody's coming out and watching this job, because the more people that watch this job will be able to verify, was the traffic control used, was this used, was that used? Now everybody's educated. And as this job goes through, I'm quite sure there's going to be, besides a town inspector looking at it, there'll be about 50 homeowners looking at it and keeping records like you did with that survey, which was great.
Yeah, and there's one other thing, there's a house
my
on,
turn.
there's a house on there that's been there, she's been there for almost 41 years, Mrs. Scholler. That is on no plans to be hooked up. So maybe we can do that another time, because that, and it only needs to go like 40 feet and she's hooked up. That's that part of that loop that we're not gonna do, but they still need to get her on there, and that was never figured in. I don't see it in any of the drawings or anything anywhere.
Except for the loop, maybe.
Lastly, I just want to say, this board is progressive, and this is why it's getting done. Now, you are not held responsible for the length of time it took. You know, we're here, and that's why we're talking about it. I think you guys get nitpicked a lot. And as far as the word bickering, no such thing. It's conversation,
Good
disagree,
conversation.
it's healthy. Okay, so I think you guys get beat up, and it's not deserved.
And I appreciate, I wish all of the residents, when we come up in front
Yeah,
of things,
that's, you put it in
get
front of you,
involved.
and then we look at it,
It's nice, yeah,
hopefully.
good.
We can agree to disagree, but we're respectful for one another.
We-
Lisa, I just want to mention, and Steve, I met with Mrs. Goodwin today. Myself and the engineering department, Rob Vara, with her issue with the water. It's
Because you're wrong, Mike.
highly believed to be groundwater. It's stormwater. It's not from the system, it's groundwater. But we're going to do a couple of exploratory holes there. We're going to dig a couple of holes and see if that's the problem with the water that comes down Kirkwood. There's a swale that the water runs down, and there's a couple of berms there, curbs that were put in.
Shovel berms.
It's keeping the water away, but we believe it's groundwater that's below the surface of the pavement, the roadway, that's leaching down through her retaining wall onto her property.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably tell you I agree with that, because I seen 1 or 2 sinkholes in the neighborhood where, at some point that it wasn't there the day before, and it was, and, after a rainstorm, I really didn't go out there, but it's probably running in there.
The water,
It's all shelf there, so.
yeah.
You know.
The water, the storm water, when it runs down Kirkwood, it's not breaching the swale or the berm that's built up by her house. It's not, in other words, it's not going over that. The water she's getting is coming from underneath
Right.
the bed of the road, which somehow is getting through her steps. You
Yep.
can see where the erosion is, where it's getting in there. There's actually a hole in her railroad-tied steps that go down to her house. You can see it where the water ran through it. So she's getting the water from somewhere from up above, where it's getting into the ground and just breaking out at where her property is, because that's the low point where her property is.
Yeah.
There's 2 stormwater catch basins there that were put in. The water's hitting that's on the surface, but the water that's underneath the surface, that looks like it's getting into her property that way. So
That might be a little lower than Lake Mayapack, and that
Yeah.
might be Lake Mayapack
Very
pouring out, you don't even know it.
So the engineering department is going to, there's going to be 2 holes that they're going to dig right by the front of our house, right on the shoulder. It's not macadam, it's just dirt in front of a house. They're going to dig a couple of holes down 3 or 4 feet and see if water, once they go down,
up.
see if the water starts coming out
Yes,
at that point.
that poor lady did spend a lot of money, and there's a couple of times that James Maxwell
Oh.
went down with sandbags and shovels and scraped the mud out of her basement.
Between the water system going in and the roads being done, that's going to be taken care of.
That'll be taken care of.
And there's one other thing I want to say about the geese, and that system that Ed Barnett came up with going and puncturing the eggs and all that definitely worked, because I know Jimmy Maxwell, Ed
It
Barnett,
worked
and a whole
before we
bunch
were
of other people.
overwhelmed with the geese.
That always did. And when you want a new baseball team, what you do is you go get young guys and you start bringing them up and replenishing that team so they get better. And then when they get older, you get more. Same thing with the car.
With the car.
You need to do that. You gotta
Yeah,
keep doing
it's-
it.
it has to get on a
Circulation,
system.
you know. So many this year, so many that year.
The only thing is we need the state to cooperate with us.
It's like the bull, you know, the one that walks down the hill versus the one that runs.
Yeah,
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
thanks, Steve.
All right, is there anyone else? Yes, Mike?
Mike?
Michael Celestino from the Chamber of Commerce. I have two things I want to talk to you tonight. One is maybe a little bit of levity that I could add to the group. Having come here for probably about a year now, I came across something this week that I want to share with you. So I enjoy coming to the meetings because what we do at the Chamber, I think, parallels a lot of what your mission is for the Board of Directors. I comment when I feel like I can add value, and I'll keep quiet when I don't think I have anything to offer, either publicly or privately. But I had the occasion this week to have to look back on some of the history of the Chamber of Commerce. And I contacted this gentleman, Greg Amato. I'm sure you all
Oh,
must know
yeah.
him, right? Okay, so I got a plethora of information from him, more than I absolutely needed. But I wanted to share something with you because I think it's kind of interesting, and it's apropos to some things that were said tonight and last week and really over the past year. But it was really at the inception of when the Chamber of Commerce began, and this article was in the Mayapack News, and it says CFC Organization Committee meets, and it was the founding fathers, potentially, of the Chamber of Commerce. And they're talking, the article reads, and I'll get to the point that I want to make. It says, on the matter of activities, and they are many, the realistic thinking of the group were that there were possibilities and could only be accomplished gradually and as the strength of the organization permitted. So they were talking about the Chamber, and they were talking about all these things. And then they list these activities, and I said, well, now today they would be called either tasks or objectives, but as I read them now, they are activities, because activities never end, right? And these are truly activities. But I started to laugh because there's 22 of them, and I won't read all of them, but I'll read a couple of them that I think apply to today, about, some of the things we've talked about, and particularly about our vision plan for the future and everything like that. So number one on the list is to encourage new housing, and we've certainly all been talking about that. Remember, this is 70 years ago, or 70-plus years ago when this happened. Number two is increase parking facilities in the shopping area. And we've been taking a long time to get that solved,
Only
right?
70
Only
years.
70 years. And
We're
it
not
even
to
breaks,
blame.
it breaks down a little bit further in another article, because as I said, I had a plethora of information. It says, the parking problem was another matter which received consideration. It was felt that that space should be provided, possibly at the station plaza, which was probably the train station at the time, right? The surface prepared, spaces lined, the work to be done by the highway department. Thereafter, the merchants should instruct their employees to use this space as they would do likewise, permitting customers to have access to the stores. What a
That's just
novel
what we-
idea,
that's
right?
just what we said.
Okay.
Exactly the way it is now.
I continue, and it says, another one here is protection of business and residence areas through bringing community planning and zoning up to date, okay? Still on the docket, right? And then taxation studies. We talk about taxation studies and recommendations for efficiencies of government. There was one here, this was interesting. I tried to find something that wasn't apropos to today. I found one on here. It says, promote development of aviation, especially through the Mayapack Airport. So that's one that's clearly off the list. We don't have to worry about anymore. But there is one in here about campaign for cleaner streets, better sidewalks, street lighting, store modernization, regulation of signs for the improvement of the community appearance. And there's probably 18 others, and many of them speak to the same things we're talking about today. So I realize that it's not about us being slow, it's about these things never end, right? They just keep on, they just keep on evolving and continuing,
with
and
the times.
as we grow, they still become problems, and so I guess everybody's not doing such a bad job, it's just that we have continued to have these problems. So I want to share that with all of you. That was number one. Number two is the street fair is a week from this coming Sunday. I'm happy to say that we have a record amount of vendors in the town attending. Well over 100 vendors are going to be attending. We,
I'm sorry, so that's the 30th?
September 30th, yep.
Okay.
September 30th, it'll follow, the parade is going on that day and everything, it's all part of the same day. We have rides, anything from rock climbing to boat rides out on the lake. I hope the lake is halfway decent to be able to do the boat rides, but they'll be free. And there'll be plenty of food for everybody, from all types of food we'll have there. So I'm looking forward for it to be a really great event for the businesses of the community and the community itself. So I wanted to get that out to everybody. Okay?
Thank you, Mike.
Okay,
Thanks,
good.
Mike, appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.
You're not going to Spain?
I'm not going to Spain, we're going to Australia.
All right, anyone else for
Jean.
new business?
Hi, everybody. Jean Hopper, Mayapack. I just wanted to get an update on the Mayapack Volunteer Fire Department. I know that they were looking to purchase, was it 1 or 2 trucks? And the commissioner had expressed concern that they were outdated equipment, and I know they had gotten some of the insurance money. I just wanted to make sure that those trucks were purchased or
They've been
in the...
delivered.
Good.
last year, right?
Good.
This
No,
past-
they
this
just
past
took
year.
delivery of them this year.
Yeah,
They
this
just-
year.
But they requested the money in
Yes,
last year's
yes, in
budget
last year's budget,
to
yeah.
And they
purchase,
bought the
'cause they got-
trucks.
They got a
Yeah.
regular...
Yeah, oh, good, that's good.
trucks.
And they had other
yes.
equipment that they needed, some state-mandated equipment. Just wanted to make sure that they were actually able to buy that.
They were.
They were, good.
Yeah, yeah,
good.
they paid for one, they bought one outright, and they financed
Good.
the second one.
Good, good for
One
them,
was
okay.
paid for, and the other one,
Did they ever pursue that auditor that was auditing them for years, if they could
the
be,
accounting firm?
yeah?
Yes,
Were they
they have.
liable at all?
They
for-
have. Yeah,
But they're
that, I can't speak
But
about
they're
that.
pursuing it, okay.
Yes, they're pursuing it,
Just
yes.
just curious. A few months ago, we had a young woman who was a new resident to Mayapack who had mentioned a town pool that she had come from, I think, Virginia. Is that ever going to be on our radar, you think, as a
We're
town?
hoping the Recreation Committee and Recreation
Right.
is pursuing that.
It's in the master plan, isn't it?
Rec Department, okay. And Swan Cove update. Do we think there's going to be public access for kayaks? What do we think about that? Do we?
Again, that's with Recreation. We just gave them the map, I guess, per
Yeah,
se.
I don't
of
think
it.
there's going to be public access. There's going to be recreation, town park possible access.
On the land.
Right now, they have the kayak access off of East Lake
East
Boulevard.
Lake.
School property.
On the school property. We don't know what the Recreation Committee has in mind for the lakefront of for Swan Cove yet, but we don't believe there's going to be any public launching of any type of motorcraft or sailboats or things like that.
Okay. When does the Recreation Committee meet? Is it the first?
Thursdays.
First
The
Thursday.
first Thursday of each month.
7:30 at Sycamore.
God bless you.
Thank you.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, is there anyone else for new business? Open forum. Okay, well, thank you all that came up during the new business open forum portion of the meeting. You know, we always like to hear feedback from the residents, good, bad, or indifferent. We need to hear it. So thank you all for being here and commenting on the new business. I have one announcement. The Town of Carmel Recreation and Parks Department presents the 2018 Fall Concert Series, Mahopac Chamber Park, 6 and 6N. It's Saturdays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. The summer concert series is on, as you know, is on Thursday evenings. The fall concert series are on Saturday evenings, 6 to 8. All concerts are free. Bring your blankets and chairs. Rain date is September 29th. So they've had the September 8th one, just the 60s. September 15th they had thrown together. And the next one is September 22nd. It's the morning after. It's acoustic rock and alternative. So that's the 22nd, which is, that's this Saturday, right?
Saturday.
Yeah, this Saturday, 6 to 8 p.m. The rain date is September 29th. So if you're not doing anything this Saturday evening, you want to come down and for a free concert in the Chamber Park, come on down, and that's for the morning after band that's going to be playing there. That's all I have. Does anybody else have anything? Suzie?
Nothing.
You have any announcements? All right, we'll announce, Mike, we'll announce the Street Fest. You announced it tonight, but we'll announce it again next week. Yeah, if you can give that to me, I'll read it off. All right, thanks, Mike. All right, good. So that concludes the town board meeting for tonight. I need a motion to close it.
So moved.
We're going to close from here. We do not have executive session in the back room. So, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, good night, everyone. Be well. We'll see you next Wednesday for town board work session.